everybody and welcome to St Peter's Nursery Phonics Workshop. The aim of today is just to share how that we teach our phonics within our nursery, and it's to help you with some of the basics of phonics and some of the terms that you might be needing to use, and hopefully to develop your confidence when you're doing phonics at home. We begin with the Jolly Phonics, the letters and sounds scheme, and that's from the DFE, and we follow that letters and sounds all the way through, and it goes all the way through school. The programme starts off learning about different phonemes, different sounds, and then leading on to blending and segmenting, and it goes from nursery all the way through to year 2, and they complete all the phases. What our children need to learn within the nursery is we aim to teach them the phase 1 phonics with all the aspects, and if you have a look at your PowerPoint, I have put down all the aspects of learning. You'll be able to go through them, and then we lead on to the phase 2 sounds, starting with S. The letters and sounds is a link between a grapheme and a phoneme. So the grapheme is what it looks like. It looks like a K, but it makes a C, but it makes the sound K. And we go on to some blending, which we'll show you in a minute, and some segmenting. And then we also try the first few tricky words as well within nursery, towards the end of nursery. And then we work on correct letter formation, especially when writing the name. So if they begin to start writing the name, we just show them how to do the letters. Phase 1 is tuning in. It's about all the sounds that you hear, like the aeroplane in the sky is a big sound, they can hear it, and we bring the sounds all the way down to small sounds with games, with using animal noises to like a little sound, and then from those we move on then to making it into one of the specific sounds that we're learning. We talk about the memory and sequencing, and we look at the vocabulary. The aspects of the first aspects of phase 1 are things like on your PowerPoint, on your sheet, it will say the environmental sounds. So all the stories and the walks that you do when you go out and about with your child, and just focusing on those sounds. Instrumental sounds, we play some games where we match the instruments. Body percussion, when we do like making the rain, and making the rain get a bit harder until you have a storm, but it's listening and then it's going back quiet again. And then we go for rhythm and rhyme. We do lots of rhymes, we do counting rhymes, finger rhymes, action rhymes, and then we try alliteration with names, and like Happy Holly, and little games like that. And when we're leaving the carpet to go and wash our hands for snack, we do little rhyming games like Hawker, Stalker, it must be Walker, and we do little names with them, rhymes with their names. The letters and sounds that we begin to learn after we've done lots and lots and lots of practice on their aspects, through the 6 aspects, we then move on to the sounds here. This is the phase 2 sounds, moving on to the phase 3 sounds in blue. And we're starting off at the moment. I've given you a list of the first sounds that we've done up to, and we've done up to I so far. So the sheets that you're going to get, they will have how to do the sound and how you make the noise and the action that goes with it, so you can help your child and play lots of games. They are represented, one sound like this is a phoneme, and it can be represented like that, and we call that a sound spot with just the phoneme K. And then we have some digraphs, which is 2 sounds together, like a S and a H together make a sh sound. And then we have a trigraph, which you move on to do as you go through school, with 3 of the phonemes together make a trigraph, like the I sound in light. This is a sound mat, and I've also given you a copy of that so you can have a look, and they can help you spot some of the sounds that we've been learning along the way. And that's the phase 3 one, that they'll get up to some of them, they'll do these ones, and they may get up to some of these a bit later on in nursery. We try and work through them as we go. So how was it taught in school? Well, when they come to us in the morning and we do all our activities, we stop and we do a phonics session. We split into 2 groups and we try and do it 4 out of the 5 days. Because on one of the days it might be a welly walk, or it might be library day. So we try and just keep one day where we don't do it, and we do it through songs and rhymes on the carpet. But we have an actual session every day except for the one day. It's a fast-paced, fun approach, lots of games and rhymes and doing all the aspects. And then we start on the phase 2 sounds, which we have already. And then we work upon this knowledge throughout our sessions. So if we've been doing a cert, there might be cert items in the sand, and they'll be doing lots of things like that. And these are all the games that I'll tell you about after. The phonics session starts with like an alphabet song, and then we begin with good sitting and good listening and lots of praise. And then we recap something that we've already done, or we may start with, doing a rhyme. And then we teach a new game or a new sound, or something new, and then we have a little game to consolidate the learning. And then we start to spell out things as well. They start to listen and spell out certain words. So here is a bit harder one, but you've got the digraph sh like that, sh-ip, ship, and they start to blend it together. So that's what the blending is, it's blending it together. We've got f-og, fog, and again we have a picture and we've got the actual phonemes, and then we use the sound spots, and together we make the words. One of the games that we play is called Old McFred. So we'll say, well, this is for listening and for them to blend the word that I'm saying. So we'll sing, Old McFred had a bag, E-I-E-I-O, and in that bag he had a pig, pig. And all the children guess what we're saying, and generally they write, they listen, and they can start blending that word together. And it all begins with oral blending first of all, and then we lead on to maybe writing pig using the sound buttons, and then they can link the 2 together. But at the moment we're on just listening to the sounds and blending it together with one of our games. As they get a bit more familiar with the sounds, and we've gone through lots of sounds and we start to play lots more games with them, we then would move on to some of the tricky words that they might see in their reading books, and I'm going to talk about the reading in a minute. So the first set is I, know, go, to, the, and into, and that's the first ones that we start with, and we just usually do it so that they can recognise it. So a game that you might want to play at home is maybe get the word and pin it up somewhere in the house, just work on I, and they've got to go and find where I is, and then introduce the next word, and then they might need to find that one and then swap them about in different places, and they just begin to become familiar with those sounds. And then we move on to the Oxford Reading Tree characters, because in their actual books, when we start doing our reading, we've got the characters, so we teach them the characters and the character names, and we look at the names: Kipper, Biff, Floppy, Mum and Dad, and Chip, and they're within our stories, so they start to recognise them. So how can I help at home? Well, you can start by just singing lots and lots of rhymes, looking at lots of picture books and talking and extending the vocabulary. There's lots of games. There's another game that we play that the children really love. So we play Silly Soup. So you just get one of your pans and you play, I'm making silly soup, I'm making soup that's silly. If you put it in the fridge, it keeps it nice and chilly. And then you ask them to think of maybe things and show them a s, and then they will put all things in. So they might say sausages, so you catch the sausages and sing it again. Sun, catch the sun and put it in. And you can do it with any of our letters that we are up to at the moment. So that's another nice game to play. There's another one where we give them different letters or different pictures, and we'll play Cross the River. We'll put like a river out, and they have to cross over if they're holding, or if they can jump over the other side and find a s sound, or they might jump over and you ask them to find a p sound, and they can go over and then come back and bring it to you, and they just jump across a piece of blue material, or a coat or a jumper or something that pretends to be the river. So what we aim to do really is to make it fun. They learn best if it's really good fun. And then they want to do lots more of it, and that's how you'll be able to support them at home. And these here are some of the ideas that we do. We start off by doing like a song that's got actions like I hear thunder, hark don't you? And we have a little rhyme like that that involves lots of clicking, lots of clapping. And what I'll do is I will video some of these games for you to have a look on Tapestry, and then you'll be able to play them at home. And like I say, we've got Silly Soup, and then there's one where you build a storm up and make the storm, like I said earlier. There's lots and lots of games, and I'll try and load them on for you, and then you'll be able to do them at home. We'll try and flash the cards every day, so if you make little cards for them to flash, of the ones that we've done so far, and just try and keep them repeating and repeating so that they recognise them really, really well. And then when we start to put them in a word, they'll recognise them really easily on those sound buttons. And play some phonic games and try and read every day as much as possible. When after Christmas, or maybe just a bit before, we'll be able to give out some reading books. The reading, we aim to send a reading book home, and it will have pictures in it to begin with. So it's a bit like this story at school. So you discuss all about it when it comes home, and the more information that you can get out, the better, ready for when they start to have words. So it's Kipper and he's playing in something on here, but let's see what the story is. So then you would go on to the story. Oh dear, what's happened? Kipper, he doesn't want to go to school, and you explain and use all the vocabulary. Why does he not want to school? And question them, and ask your child, you know, why is he sad? And the more information that they can give us at school, we can then swap the book when it comes back. And then eventually they will go on to a book with words. But that will be when they've learned some of the tricky words, and they've got lots of the sounds, and they're starting to blend a little bit, and then they can have the words in them. But they will still be able to use the clues. If you've done the first part really, really well, the child will feel confident, and you'll be able to do the lots of the words with the matching sound books. So here's some of the useful websites, some of the ones we use. We use the Jolly Phonics. You can use the free play. If you go onto it, you can do phase 1, and that's doing some sounds on there. Or if you go on to phase 2, you can do little games with Match a Picture, or Odd and Bob, or Berry Treasure. They're quite good games that we use. And that's the Letters and Sounds website information for you to have a little look at. And Alpha Blocks shows you how to do the sounds. So you used to say S, but now we say S. And it just helps you with that. Alpha Blocks is really good as well. When the book does come home, it will come home like this. They'll have a little book to bring in and out of school all of the time, and then they get the book the same as these without words, and like I say, lots of information. And then you just write a little comment on here for you to just write down how they've got on and what information, and then we read it, and we read with your child again, and then we'll swap the book, and we hope that they go building up their vocabulary and become a lot more confident. So that should soon be coming. Thank you, and if you've got any questions, if you just want to use the email, and you can email me, and we'll answer any questions. I hope that's okay, and I'll put some more things on Tapestry for you to have a look at some of the games. Okay, thank you.